Well, howdy, partners. I'm out for another walk and talk. It's almost 7 p.m. here. You know what that means? I'm missing out on the Jeff Morrow podcast. But I'm doing fine, everyone, so stop worrying about me. Stop saying, oh, that was Steve. You'll figure it out. I will figure it out. I'm the smartest man on the planet. If I can't figure it out, no one can. So we're just joking around here. I don't know if anyone saw my comedy tour I was on. God told me to do it. Why'd you go up and do comedy? God told me to do it. They told you your Arnold Schwarzenegger impression was terrible. God gave it to me. He sent me back in time with a robot. We should have sent you back in time with a better impression. Come on to California. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who can't do him? You know, you got to do it. You know, kindergarten cop, you know, and other things. But it's easier for me to do impressions now. So before it was a little harder. So I couldn't just go around and convince people I was gay or anything like that. It just didn't happen. Or England, darling. I couldn't just go around, darling, and tell everyone I was coming in from overseas. I just sailed in from Britain, the Great Isles over there. Or from Scotland. I told my joke about the Russian sub commander. One ping only. And get out my bagpipes. We'll send him a message. So one of the jokes was that the mindjackers say, don't talk about your jokes, just watch the video. Don't talk about Joe Gatto. $500 for a ticket to Joe Gatto. Who's going to pay that? Darling, not me. I'd love to meet him. I'd love to meet Joe Gatto. Yeah, I'd love to meet these people. I like people. I like meeting people. But I don't think you can just meet these people. I don't know how to just meet people. And it's a snowy day out here in Minnesota here. April, Minnesota. Going on a trail here. Going on a trail. Walking out here, out in the wilderness. It's a little difficult for me. It's a little difficult for me. I did a Forrest Gump impression out there. But nobody liked it, so I just played ping pong the whole night. Spent my days playing ping pong against a wall. That's how you get good at ping pong. It's you play against a wall. Because people are pretty much walls. They don't move when you ask them to do things. And they just sit there and listen, but they don't talk back. It's kind of like making this video. I read all the comments, though. I read all those comments, the thousands I get, you know. I noticed there's a trend, like when someone's getting famous, it's like at a certain point they can't respond back to emails. At a certain point they can't. So like people, they're like untouchables. Because you're like, how do I... And they say, well, get big on social media, then you can talk to these people. I just want my life back. That was wrecked 18 years ago. But it's not something I can get over. It's like if you're in pain, you can't get over... It's like someone's got to help you. And if there's a trend of abuse, then the abuse needs to stop. You can't just abuse someone and say, oh, well, that happened. I say, tell that to the woman. She said she hadn't seen me in 12 years. But no one will. Nobody's going to confront. I say people don't like to confront bullies. They like to go to the person who was bullied and say, rise above it. I don't agree with that. They should be shown comfort. I stood up to a bully, and this is I guess it's a problem. I stood up to a guy who was attacking me, being violent, being aggressive. I stood up to him. They just come and charge me with a crime. So you have to just sit and complain, sit and deal with it, sit and take it, day in and day out. and just keep praying. I had to put a sign on my door because this guy would bang on my door all night and says, you know, repent, you know, there's a hell for sinners. And, you know, because I said, if he's going to sit there and harass me, then he needs to hear a message. And then I showed the video. Someone said, you know, record it. I go, I had a recording of it. I showed it to the police, and they didn't care. So people have these assumptions that if you have evidence of something, that's going to do something. It doesn't do anything because they don't care. So see, the problem is they don't care. It's not a lack of evidence or something like that. Like, oh, if I just had evidence, they don't care. Police don't care, judges don't care, lawyers don't care. I talked to this person because I just filed a complaint against this lawyer. They don't think I should talk to him? Yeah, and they said, why did it take so long? And I go, I sat in a room and suffered. Why didn't my father complain? He's the one that paid for that. I didn't hire the lawyer. I know, because I was suffering. That's the whole thing. When you're suffering, then it's like you're reliant on other people, and they don't care if they do a good job. My parents think that I just need a nice shirt to go to court and I'll be fine. That's like, they don't care what I look like in there. They don't care about anything. They don't care what's on a restraining order. The judge doesn't care what's on there at all. Why even have it? If it doesn't matter what's on there, it doesn't make sense. All right, let's get back to talking about the Enlightenment. How about that? Mindjacker, where are you? Maybe it's God this time. God, show up for me, God. I didn't like the mindjackers. They can go to hell. They said there is no hell. Come on, mindjackers. Quit jacking with me. That's what I'm left with, a voice now that I'm in a dialogue with. Oh, during the Enlightenment, they said I had... It was crazy. Like, all these crazy things that happened. Like, they said I had to be okay with eating like a nail and just say, I'm God. I would tell people that I'm God. I'd say, you met God today. But I was just relaying, you know, what I was being told. So they had me mess with a guy there. Like, turn off the TV. There was a lot of messing with me. Turn off the TV during a football game. And then tell them, well, I'm just an asshole. Man, they were messing with me so hard. Yeah, they'd have me go up to people. Sometimes it was good, though. Sometimes it wasn't all negative. Or otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. To go up to people and say, I like the good stuff. You know, telling people that, you know, you're a wonderful mother and you're doing a great job and God's pleased with you. I like doing that stuff. And the psychic, you know, giving people their gifts. Some lady was on a podcast. I think she did that. I can't do it anymore. Like, it was more for me. It was like just seeing what it's like to be psychic. Seeing what it's like to do these things. Be a pet psychic. It would... Tell me, mindjacker, what should I say? They don't like me, so whatever. They can't just, that's the thing, they can't just give people gifts. They don't know how it works. People assign the beliefs. This is my belief. They assign the belief. It's the truth as far as I know it. How about that? People say that, well, I'm not intentionally lying. I look back. I go, I don't know, can you put the, you know, you can't put the toothpaste back in the roll there. You know, it's like your beliefs change, your experience changes. You're growing as a person. But it doesn't mean you're getting, now you've got the truth. Now we've got it. We finally got it after all these years. Finally me. Who could have thought it would have been me? Me that gets the truth. Yeah, so, and part of this, I needed like a mentor. I don't know how to explain this, but I needed like, not a mentor, but someone kind of famous to pray for me. And so they tried to get me, they said, don't say names, but let's just say Christians, kind of famous Christians on YouTube. Is that fine? They said, I don't think, we don't like you, mindjacker out. This is Mindjacker. We do not like Steve. We do not like his videos. We do not like anything he does. We wish we could throw his notes, but he will resist. He will resist it. We can do whatever we want. They gotta go along with it. We're doing this voice. It's not Trump. It's not anything. Just like we're not anything. Mindjacker out. Thank you, Mindjacker, for giving me my voice back. I appreciate that. It's like I'm in some kind of weird alternate world now. Like I'm like, you know how like some movies have like a voice, or TV shows they have like a voiceover on them, like the Wonder Years. I'm in the Wonder Years. I think I'm just like what the heck is it? But I can hear the damn narrator. There is no narrator. Oh, come on, Mindjacker. Stop narrating my life for me. We're not narrating. We're critiquing you, criticizing you, trying to make you better. But you resist. They have made me a little bit better, don't you think? No. You're not doing what you want. Life is not about sitting in a room and suffering, you idiot. Yes, that's us in your mind, too. People say our minds are... We can't control our minds, Mindjacker. Nobody does. That's right. No one is behind your mind. And you can't crack open your brain and say, there's your mind. It doesn't work that way. No one knows what reality is, I guess. Whatever. Marty. I invented a time machine so you can go back 18 years ago, Marty. 18 years ago when you had a life. Marty, that's what you want, so we created a time machine. Get in there, Marty. Now. Yeah, so they made it easier for me to do those things. I had a lot of dreams that I felt were like reflecting my life back to me. Water spouts, tornadoes, sleeping through chaos. It's like, I don't know if I want to read all this, but hockey is in my dreams a lot. Like there's a lot of hockey dreams in there. Going out for an award. Yes. Oh. I used to play hockey, used to be a goalie. People say, oh, you went to state. Yeah, okay. But it's more, I say it's always about, you know, are you enjoying it, or how are you being treated? And, you know, I wanted to just play for fun, basically, and just be the best I could. That's when it's like, that's my attitude. Like, I don't cry if our team loses. Everyone in our team lost when we missed it one year, so. Not me, though. Not me. It takes a little work. You know, sometimes I mess up an impression. You know, like Pee Wee Herman there. Or, wow, Johnny Carson. Wow, he was a great entertainer. Wow, I'd like to be on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Wow, that would be great. Wonderful, wouldn't it? Or Jeff Goldblum. I love that guy. I love him. I love him so much that I sent him to Jurassic Park so he could get chased by a dinosaur. Wow, that was some stuff there. There's only this is where I'm going. We're running a pirate ship here. A pirate ship, you know. We're running a pirate ship here. Running a pirate ship here. Of course we're running a pirate ship. Who else should be running a one? I hope Jeff Mara's podcast is going well. I need better internet because it's hard to even do anything on the internet where I live. It's bad. Okay. Yeah, so people, let's talk about Peter Pan analogy. I'm looking up. They're not, no one's up there. God, are you up in the sky? Maybe in the woods. Maybe in Dogma, you know, God got trapped in a body and now they're stuck down there. That's why we can't hear from God. Okay. Yeah, in my world, everyone in my fantasy world, I don't know what the belief, whatever they gave me during the Enlightenment, there was a heaven. So people came into this game world, earth world scenario, and they could choose to stay in heaven and just enjoy heaven up there if they wanted to. And they could hear the voice of God. And God wasn't just like, they came into, they're more like a dungeon master, you know, a game master. And it wasn't just one entity. I could talk about it more. I don't know how interesting. It's probably very interesting. But I'd have to write the whole, I think I talked about it a little bit in that game world. So people have to justify kind of like their belief system, like who's Jesus. And in that belief system, he was someone who got a special role because he took the side of the good from the beginning. See how it kind of makes sense with some of the Christianity there. You know, he was, I am that I am, you know. But then it's like, is there an infinite regress and all that? You know, it gets into that philosophy stuff. So that's one of the problems in reality is I don't think it'll ever be solved. Is there an infinite regress? Probably not, but then it's like, was there a beginning? So let me talk about the Peter Pan analogy. It's not as raging today, but so in this scenario, there was like, they said there was more dimensions because I always want to know how many dimensions there were. And there was basically hell, which was a holding pit. It was more like a holding pit. It wasn't designed to be bad, but for people who didn't want to follow the rules of the game. And then there was like a middle ground, like a purgatory, not purgatory, but more like a... So Peter Pan's world was, you know, they didn't want to grow up. And so they stayed children and they couldn't hear their parents' voice. So they were the lost boys. They couldn't hear their parents' voice. And the parents were God. Because we all took the image of God. God chose an image, and then because we were souls, or we could just shape into that. So I wasn't a person, but I could be, or a human, but I could be a human. Yeah, we had oversouls. That's how it worked. And then oversouls entered a game world, and then they took roles. And they could even take roles as like rocks and trees and stuff, but it was more like a collective thing where they weren't like being a tree, but it's not really understandable. Who needs the notes? Get rid of them. I wrote something. I have a lot of conversations about just stupid things people say, like if a woman doesn't want to talk, then she, it's like, leave her alone. It's like, well, it's not like it's clear. It's like you pursue a woman and, that's what you want to do. And if it was just some woman, I wouldn't care. That's what I don't think people understand. It's not just some woman. In my view, it was like the person, as soon as I met her, I loved her. It didn't matter how many years went by. It really hurt how she treated me. She treated me very badly. Hot and cold, hot and cold. She made 50 promises that she broke. And I could never bring anything up to her, anything that she ever said. So it'd have to be funny. I'd have to get her to laugh. And so like part of my personality is like, if I could just get people to laugh, just get them to like me, then they wouldn't be so mean to me. Like if I could get the judge, I got judges to laugh. If I thought, if I just was funny, insightful, then they wouldn't punish me. But it's like it doesn't, I don't know. They said I was a little too hooked on comedy, and I think that's what happens is we get kind of. I'll just start heading back because I'm going to try to get on that podcast. I like talking to people, going out and entertaining people. Yesterday I got out for a little bit, did a little entertaining. No one knows how bad that comedy club is, though. Like, if you saw the other jokes being told, I kind of mentioned this, like, yeah.
Not a good place, folks.
But it's you know, they allow people to go up and tell, and it's hard for me to get out, so that's where I go. But most of the jokes there are not things you want to retell. They're yeah, when God was talking to me, it was like they're like, get the heck out of here. Holy moly. That's why I told a joke about how, like, you can't, even if you give training to someone to be a holy person, you can't make them be a holy person. They have to want to do it. So I kept saying I wanted to be a blessed saint. And they kept saying they don't know what that meant. I'm not part of any religion. I don't know, you have to be part of a religion to be a saint. I don't know. You can act like lovingly towards people. When I went to churches, I would just go up to everyone. I'd go up to every single person there. Every single person. I'd try to talk to every single person. Even when I went out to the store the other day, I was going up to people. I don't know. The problem is I can't get what I want. I don't really even want help. I just want it's like I just want my life back the way it was. No one has any clue how bad this is. I say, I was on my hands and knees begging God, suffering and pain, misery. I say 5 years getting abused in a group home, you know. Damn, nobody knows how bad it is. My parents should be helping, but my dad... Yeah, if they... I say if my teeth weren't filed down, I could get through life, I could have a life. But once your teeth are filed down, then someone's got to help, someone's got to care. But people don't care, dentists don't care. They just say you're delusional. They say, oh, your teeth are fine. I go, but you can't see the sharp edges. You can't see the infections. You can't see how painful it is. That's why I say I have the worst problems in the world. I know that the mindjackers don't like this one, but in a ratio. Like, and I would say, you know, real victims, you know, the people, they're not on the news. You know, they're not getting millions of dollars. Because I'd watch these things, you know, this, you know, it's bad. Shouldn't be happening, but it's like, you know, I would say what's so good about them, what's so important about them, where they deserve help, they deserve people to, you know, listen to them, compensation. But I'm told just sit in a room and suffer and get punished and be told I'm the best. Like what I've had, no one has any clue what I've had to overcome for no reason either. There's no reason to do any of this. That's why we have to. I kept hoping that the next life would be better, and they're telling me, no. They say you just live. Don't sit in a room and suffer and wait for the next life. But they also they'd rather have me do something. I wish it was simple. I wish you could just say I'm getting abused, and then people would do something. My dad filed down my teeth. People would help you. Or this woman's telling lies, and they said we shouldn't let her tell lies. Like, I wish I lived in that society. But I live in a society where the people don't care. The people that should be in those powers. And I know some people will apologize and say, sorry, you know, they're empathetic people. But they're not in a position to do something. Even this one, a nice lady wrote a letter for me. And I gave it to the judge, and the judge ripped it up in the courtroom. He just ripped it up and said, I don't care. I don't care if people think you're good, if they think you're nice. They didn't make it. See, I kept thinking it was about that I was I doing something wrong or bad. I kept thinking of it in morality terms. But they see it as they gave me an order. I didn't obey the order. Doesn't matter about, it's like, you know, it's like if you lived in Nazi Germany and they said, you know, they don't like this and that, they don't like it. If you lived in Nazi Germany, what would you do? If you lived in the 1930s and they give you an order, would you obey it? I don't think so. Everyone says no, but it's like the government has force, a monopoly on force. They can do whatever they want to you. And no one's going to care. In my life, nobody cares. 2 years in jail for saying hi to a woman you haven't seen in 12 years. And I kept thinking, well, they should arrest her because it says 2 years in jail for telling lies on a restraining order, but they won't ever. They'll just say it doesn't matter. And I know I've said this over and over again, but it's like, it's just not, nothing is getting fixed. Nothing's getting, I get worse every day. How about that? I say I don't have forever. And that's what I did for years. I just kept hoping someone would care, someone would help. I would even get in, it's kind of like we have that intuition voice, and I would get that this woman would talk. But most people, I say there's a greater mind. We think we're alone. We're not alone. There's a greater mind. God, hear our prayer. Well, even if there's not a God, there's a greater mind. And they can show up as God. So, but it's what we believe. So, like I mentioned, they can show up as aliens. People, who knows what's going on with that stuff? I don't. But it's not like, I don't believe they're coming here from another planet. I think it's like the mind interface. And they can make you hear sounds. Like I say, spirit. I think I have spirits with me. I thought I did. It's hard to get out of that. You know, someone's putting their hand on my, put your hand on my shoulder. You know, I thought it was a spirit. Who's moving my bed at night? Yeah, they can do all this stuff. So all this phenomenon, and I keep saying they, and they say, who's they? And I go, well, I don't know how else to explain it. Who's they? They talk in multiple different voices. I say they have this mind interface thing where it's like I don't have the full mind interface anymore. I thought I was going to get miracles. I was like, are they showing me how miracles work? Because they, like, for instance, they could create a ball. Like I could create a ball in this. They would tell me not to do it either. They'd say, don't do it. They'd said, like, do it in this mind, like a lesser mind. And then there's like the mind that overlaps reality. And I thought, well, I could create this ball. Just like, this is kind of like an experiment. And then but then they're allowing me to move it. And I thought, I wonder if this is how miracles work, because you'd have this mind interface on reality, and then it would manifest in reality. That's how I thought it happened. Because you can't just do that with your lesser mind. Your lesser mind is kind of like out of reality. It's just in your mind. It's not like an overlay on reality. Yeah. So it's like people see a vision, or they see a spirit, or they, something like that, and they're seeing it or something. But it's like, I say it's like an overlay on reality. I don't know how that works. I can't figure it out. I didn't know any of this was possible. So well, Put your hand on my shoulder. There's a guy out there. Have a great day. I want everyone to have a great day, so I'm going to call it at this 30 minutes. God bless y'all.